This is Home Secretary Priti Patel explaining her plans for policing and immigration at the Conservative Party conference. Here we go.
We have delivered more powers to the police so that they can do exactly that, including stop and search.
Government figures show that black people are already stopped and searched by police 10 times more than white people, and your recent report says that your new plans will disproportionately affect black people even more. And you said that was objectively justified because of crime stats.
And this summer, we launched our new Beating Crime Plan.
Funny, because in that crime plan, you recognise the link between poverty, the ability to escape that poverty via a job, and the commission of crime. And in your recent race report, you recognise that employer bias makes it 70% harder for black people to get a job. But you said that that wasn't a sign of institutional racism because it's just because people assume black people are poor. So you ignore the stuff that keeps black people in poverty while sticking the police on them, which helps keep black people in poverty. It almost seems like some sort of vicious circle, almost like an institutional problem. And it's interesting because Her Majesty's Inspector of the Constabulary, i.e. a branch of government, found that white people are 27% more likely to have drugs on them when they're stopped and searched. Which calls into question this next bit.
Today, I am announcing the expansion of drug testing on arrest across all 43 police forces in England and Wales. Those who test positive as confirmed drug users will be supported to tackle their drug abuse, but for those unwilling to address their drug misuse, there will be the harshest possible legal sanctions and consequences.
Okay, so let me just do the maths here. White people are 27% more likely to have drugs on them. Black people are 900% more likely to be stopped and tested for drugs. What happens to the obvious loser of that situation again?
There will be the harshest possible legal sanctions and consequences.
Great.
But I will not tolerate the so-called eco-warriors trampling over our way of life and draining police resources.
Okay, so she's talking about the people who are gluing themselves to motorways, and that's fair. They should be removed and potentially prosecuted.
The freedom to protest is a fundamental right our party will forever fight to uphold. But it must be within the law.
But hang on, you set the laws.
Measures already going through Parliament
You're changing them right now.
will ensure that these criminals can be brought to justice for the disruption that they are causing.
You've just used people gluing themselves to motorways to try to justify your new law, which means that anybody who does a protest which is noisy enough to make anybody nearby potentially feel uneasy can be fined up to £2,500. I'm not seeing the link there. Now just look at the sheer joy on Priti Patel's face.
And that's not all. We have finally ended free movement.
This country is facing food and drink shortages, petrol shortages, NHS staff shortages during a pandemic, damage to our ability to even farm, all of which have been made worse by the loss of free movement, and you are clapping.
What is happening in the Channel with small boats is unsafe, unfair, and unacceptable. Our system must uphold our reputation as a country where criminality is not rewarded, but where playing by the rules is.
Okay, Patel, what are the rules then? Because the Refugee Convention, which the UK signed up to, says you're not allowed to discriminate against asylum seekers based on which country in the world they come from. So as long as they come straight here and declare themselves to the authorities within a reasonable period of time, you're not allowed to penalise them based on the fact that they entered without authorisation. And what are you doing?
How somebody arrives in the United Kingdom will impact upon how their asylum claim is processed. France is a safe country, not one riven by war or conflict. There is no reason why any asylum seeker should come to the United Kingdom directly from France.
I have one! Fucking geography! It's the idea that we can take military action in the Middle East that destabilizes the lives of millions of people thousands of miles away, and then use the fact that they're thousands of miles away to say, no, go somewhere else.
Labour MPs shamefully campaign to halt the removal of murderers, rapists, and child abusers.
Rashawn Davis came to the UK when he was 11 years old. He knows nobody in Jamaica. He was sentenced to 12 months in prison, which makes the cut for deportation. That was cut down to 2 because it was a wrong sentencing because he was simply present when 2 phones were stolen. Twain Morgan is a 2-tour veteran who fought for this country in Afghanistan and suffered post-traumatic stress disorder. He then came back to the UK and committed GBH because he couldn't get treatment for the PTSD, which is unsurprising given that James Cleverly recently said that veterans with mental health issues should go find a charity. Both of these men were scheduled to go on a deportation flight alongside rapists and killers because that's the Tory strategy. They'll point to people gluing themselves to motorways to justify effectively criminalising all protest. And they'll point to rapists and killers to justify deporting British Army veterans of Jamaican descent. They take rights away from the people we hate as a gateway to taking rights away from the rest of us. The Tory continues.